Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today we are going to play in our Pro Stitcher simulator, and I'm going to show you how to use the clam sets from Quiltable. Everybody loves a clamshell. Clamshells on quilts look so great. It adds a ton of texture, and what I really like about these Quiltable sets, and I will link the sets below. I believe there's 3. They're called Clamorama. So like you have to buy them just because of the name, right? But what's great about this is there's 28 different designs in these 3 sets, and they all mix and match. So you can use two clams from set 1 and 3 from set 2 and maybe 1 from set 3. Mix and match those. Create your own designs and then use that to quilt out. So I'm going to show you how that's done. I'm going to show you how to kind of combine the different elements to make your own design, and then how you would use that in Pro Stitcher and do all that in Pro Stitcher. I'm going to show you the design packs in Pro Stitcher Studio because I'm going to open them up so you can see like this is set 1 or set 2 or set 3. And then I will post some pictures of them quilted out. They look fantastic. It's, like I said, it adds a ton of texture, but when you can add some more fun and flair to those clams, it's a fantastic look. As always, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. You do have to have notifications on, but you'll get a little ding every Friday at 9 saying Adam So Fun's posted a video. These clam sets are on sale right now at Quiltable. I think they're 50% off. And I saw that they were doing these sales this week. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to post this video because 1, people don't know how to use them, how to mix and match. But 2, if you use my discount code ASF10, like Adam So Fun, ASF10, you'll get an extra 10% off the already discounted price because those discounts stack. So shop away, save some money. I love saving money. I love saving you money even more. But without further ado, we're going to jump into the simulator and we'll see you back here in a second. All right, everyone, here we are in my Pro Stitcher Designer or Pro Stitcher Studio. I have my clam sets set up, and I went to my I have Pro Stitcher catalog, so I went to my find. I typed in Clamorama, and I have it set up to search the file that this was in. I have a total of 28 designs, which are the Clamorama sets, the 3 different sets, the total. So these are all of the designs that are in the 3 sets, and then I just pulled them over so you could see. So I'm going to come back here so that doesn't confuse you. This is Clamorama set 1. You get this triple heart. I believe this one's called Peacock. I don't know their names, but some scrollies, some pebbles, or I'm going to call them pearls because that's more fancy. A sunrise, a few different suns, some leaves or fern. I'm going to call it a fern, a heart, and another sun. And then just the typical clamshell. I was putting this, I'm like, oh, you get a bird. No, it's the typical clamshell, but it's not done the typical way because how you need to fill these, you have to think a little outside the box. So when they go together, you'll see that it does make a clamshell. So this is Clamorama, the original set 1. This is Clamorama set 2. You get some more suns of rainbow. How fun would that be on a little fun, bright quilt? Some piano keys, some filigrees, a little more modern-y things. I think these are modern. Some people might think they're not. I love this one. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be gorgeous stitched out? This one too. Oh, well, let's be honest. I love them all. So this is Clamorama set 2 or version 2, I think it's called. And then this is the mini Clamorama set, which is a set of 8 instead of a set of 10. And they're all, they all mix and match. Do some of them kind of look similar? Yes, but they're not all the same. That's what's great about it. You can switch it up just a little bit. So love these clam sets, and this is what I'm going to be using for in the videos. All right, so these are your sets. These are your 3 sets. We have the version 1, version 2, and version 3, or the mini set. So I'm going to pop over to Pro Stitcher. All right, so we're over in the Pro Stitcher side again. We're in Pro Stitcher Simulator. We have green crosshairs. I'm in a file design open, and I want to open these clam sets. The only thing is I have to remember where I saved them, and I think they're in my designs folder under Quiltable. Am I right? Yay, there's all my Quiltable stuff, or some of my Quiltable stuff. So here's Clamorama set 1. Again, they're designed to mix and match with um, with each other, I think. I actually have these labeled wrong. This is set 2. You can see V2 for version 2, and this is set 1. So don't believe what you see. I'm going to open the original, and let's just open like these 3. You can mix and match the sets, but I'm just going to pull 3 from this one just because I'm here, and it's going to save us time. I'm running a little late. Let's be honest. Actually, I do want to open one more from the other set. I just love this rainbow one so much. Oh, I should do that one. I love them all. Again, you know me. I love them all. So I'm going to pull these around and show you which ones we're going to use. Did I? Oh, no, I opened 5. Okay, so first thing, we have to decide what we want to do. Over on the side, we can see that the width of these are 6, the height they're 3. We'll need that for later. So perfect, we have that. A few things before you start. How are you going to mix and match it? Do you just want it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? In this case, the first design we're going to set it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But maybe you want to make a different design. Maybe you want to make it so they're they make a design themselves, maybe like a pyramid or something. I don't know. You're going to be the master of your quilt. But first thing, we have these 5 designs. We want to put these 5 designs together. We've talked about this when we combine designs, but I'm going to take the first design I want. And a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to copy all of this and I'm going to edit and duplicate, because I don't want to use those original ones because we're going to do a few different things with these designs. So I have them all duplicated. So I now have 10 designs over in my workspace. You can see all 10. I'm moving my crosshairs away from all of that's happening up here because I want to work in a fresh area. And we'll just combine these straight and across. I'm going to pick the first design I want, modify tab, reposition, endpoint. It's going to put the endpoint right on my crosshairs. I'm going to pick the next design. I'm going to select it. We know it's selected because it turns dark, and I'm over on reposition, going to hit start point. It's now put the start point and the end point of the first design, the start point of the second design right on top of each other. Great. Now I'm going to select them both. I can do this by dragging and dropping a box around them. They're both selected. I'm going to go over to my workspace tab, make sure they're stitching out in the proper order. We can tell because there's not a jump, but if there was a jump here, it would be behind my crosshairs. You might not be able to see it. So best practice, come over here, make sure it's stitching the way we want, and I'm going to baseline it. And that baseline has now froze those 2 together, and we see that they are merged. So now ProStitcher sees them as one piece, no longer 2 pieces. Now I'm going to go back to reposition. You can see up here I have modify reposition selected, and over on my sidebar I have a sidebar tab that says reposition, so I'm just going to tap on that sidebar tab, reposition. I'm going to reposition the endpoint, select my new one, start point, select my whole set, go to my workspace. I see a jump right there, so now this one wants to stitch this clam first and then the other clams last. We don't want that. So I'm going to use the arrows down here to shift it around. Now I have them in the correct order and I can baseline. So now I have my 3-piece merge group. On my sidebar tab, tap reposition, endpoint, start point, select everything, go to my workspace, make sure it's stitching out the proper order. Again, it's not. So I'm selecting one. In this case, I have what I want stitching second, but over here it shows it stitching first. I'm going to push the down arrow. It's fixed it, so now it's doing the merge group, and then this single piece, baseline, reposition, end point, select my new one, start point, select everything, workspace tab, and again, it's showing the final clam first, so I'm going to shift the stitch order and baseline. And now I've made my edge-to-edge clams. Oh my gosh, this looks so cool. So if I wanted to, and I'm just going to drag and drop them over into their own area and zoom into this area like there's nothing else here. And if I wanted to go to my repeat tab, I can now repeat them. I can repeat them vertically. And this is where we're going to wrap. So you could stitch it out like this, that would be fine, but we want to wrap this. So I'm going to go to my wrap. Horizontal, I want the horizontal wrapped. And I want to offset these every other row. So on my row, I'm just going to hit 1/2, and that will wrap them perfect. And then now I need to go to my vertical tab, and I need to shrink this gap. So right here on gap, we know that they're 3 inches tall. So I believe this is probably going to be like -1.5 to be perfect. Just kidding, it's going to be -3. I just always shrink them until it looks right. There, oh my gosh. How cool is that? I'm going to turn my jumps off just so it's not bugging us. They nest so perfect. It makes this cool kind of pattern that we get to kind of pick. So we shifted. Oh, that's why. Hold on. Let me go back to my wrap. So we wrapped these 1/2, which is, if you were using a single, it would be fine. But what we actually did, I'm going to go back to my horizontal wrap, and I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go back to 0. So this is original. All right, so when we used wrap, and we wrapped this 1/2, we didn't wrap it 1/2 according to one design. We wrapped it 1/2 according to the full length of this. So each of these are 6 inches wide, and we have 5. So we have a 30-inch wide design. So when we're wrapping it, we're actually wrapping it 15 inches. So it's going to change the offset. So I'm going to go back to my repeat and go to wrap. And here, we really need to wrap this 3 inches. So I'm going to click and hit 3 because one design is 6. And there, that's going to give you the correct wrap for what I think this should look like. I'm going to go to my basic, and I'm going to add some more repeats because this is a very cool design. Now imagine this stitched out. This looks so much more modern. I love this empty row. I wasn't sure that it was going to look right, but I love that empty row. Holy cow, this is fantastic. And this is just 5 of the 28 designs out there. Now, maybe you don't like this. Maybe you're like, oh, too uniform. I like it more. I want it more. So let's see, they're 6 inches wide. I wrapped 3 inches. Maybe I want to wrap 9 inches because it'll have to be 6 plus 1/2, which is 3. Enter. And now this is not pleasing to my eye, but you might like it. But what I did, instead of sticking the rainbow and the rainbow, I shifted the rainbow over one more. Not as pleasing to my eye. What about 9, 15? I have to use math. That's right. Still not great. And this is where you can come, really it's just adding another 6. So 21. That one might be a little bit better. But this is how you can kind of go in and change the look of that design. Honestly, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I love this. I'm definitely going to use this on something. I just have to make a quilt to use it. Now I get to design a quilt to make it especially for my Glamorama sets. So that's one way to do this. Now, one of the pictures I'll show you, they actually created their own kind of design using this. So instead of, and let's see, we're gonna delete this. We're just gonna close this and start over. All right, everyone. So for the next design we're gonna do, I want to start fresh. I drew what my pattern needed to look like first because this is gonna get a little bit intricate. So keep up if you can. The first thing I'm gonna do, draw my pattern out. In this one, the pattern is I'm going to only use 2 designs, and the first one is like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The second row is going to be all ones. The third row is going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and the fourth row is going to be all 2s. So that's going to be what I'm looking for. So let me open, how about pearls and rainbows? That's fun. So these are the two designs I'm going to be using. So that's your first step. Have your pattern. Second, how wide is your quilt? Let's pretend. Let's set my area. So I'm going to just create an area, and this is going to be two corner and two corner. And let's say this quilt is 50 by 63. That's fine. You really only need the width, but it's very important that you know the width. So I'm going to zoom back into what we were doing up here. Pick my first design. We need to do three things. I need to make a row of 1 2 1 2 1 2, and make a row of rainbows and a row of pearls. So I'm going to duplicate each of these designs once. Duplicate. There we are. And I will bring this design down and this design down. So this is what we have to work with. The first thing I'm going to do is repeat one of these rows because we need it all the way across. And it will be best, oops, I moved my area. Don't move your area. It happens. I'm going to select my design. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going my repeat basic and I'm repeating across. I'm not going to hit fill and stretch. I don't need that. I just need to repeat this across. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to crop these anyway. So, and they naturally crop when you use clamshells anyway because you'll have to offset them. So one of them is going to be cropped. So I'm going to make it longer and I'm going to hit baseline. So that's one of my base designs. I'm going to do the same thing with the rainbows. I should have looked at how many times I copied it. There's 11 in baseline. So now I have one row of pearls, one row of rainbows. Now I need to combine these two. Let's zoom into them. And we'll do the same thing we just did. I have my rainbow. I'm going to modify, reposition in my ribbon, end point on the sidebar. I will select my pearls, select start point, select both of these designs. I pulled that area up again. I keep doing that. What's going on? It's weird when I can't use my finger. And simulator's going crazy on me. Well, I'm smarter than the machine. I'm going to hit down here. I'm going to hit select multiple and just click the 2 and turn this off. I always forget to turn it off, so I don't use it all that much, but that's what that button does. So let's see. It is stitching in the correct order. I always check my order, and I'm in a baseline. So now I will select this design, bring it over here, and now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to repeat it. It's probably going to be a little bit longer, and that's okay. Because if I repeat it, and we only have to do it half the number of times, but you can't half 11. You can't do 5.5, so we'll just repeat it 6. So these are my base designs I have. I'm going to baseline, and then I will edit and duplicate this because I need 2 of this design, of these offsets. So we made one row of all one design, one row of the other design we're using, and then 2 rows of the designs offsetting 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now I will move my simulator button. I'm just going to do it down here so we have some room. I want to put everything right on top of each other. We're going to bring everything to one start point. So I will select modify, reposition, move my crosshair somewhere where I can see what's going on, and I will just hit start point. Select my next one, start point, my next one, start point, my next one, start point. Now I have 4 of those rows living on top of each other. It's okay. This is just part of the process so we can see what's going on. So the pattern I drew, the first row was offset. The second row was design 1. So I'm going to go to my workspace tab over in my sidebar tabs, and I am going to pick up one of the rows that is either just the pearls or just the rainbows. In this case, pearls was there, so that's what I'm going to use. I'll go back to reposition. And we know these designs are 3 inches. We know that when we nudge this, we need to nudge it down, or we know that the height is 3 inches. So we know that the offset needs to be 3 inches. So I came down here and I changed my nudge to 3. So now when I hit this nudge button, it's going to move that design 3 inches. So I'm pushing it down. So now my pearls are in the row 2 position. My row 3 position is again a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'll just pick one of them, go back to reposition, and I'm going to nudge this down twice. And then the final row is the other solid, we'll say solid row 2, which in this case is going to be the rainbows. So I'm going to select the rainbows, go back to reposition, bring it all the way down. So we still have quite a mess going on. Next step is going to fix everything. We just need to offset these designs. So I'm going to my workspace tab, and we only need to offset every other row. So the second row is pearls. So let's pick pearls. We're going to go to reposition, and I'm going to nudge the pearls to the left, or let's do the pearls to the right because we're here. And then I'll go back to workspace, pick up my rainbows because every other row needs to be offsetted. Reposition, and I'm going to nudge this one also to the right. And look what it did. Let's zoom in. It's now created this diamond shape of designs in every other row. Now we don't have the full diamond shape here, but when we actually go and repeat this, we will. So there's our design. Next step. Because this is what we're going to repeat. We need to select everything. So I have all 4 rows selected. I'm going to my workspace and I'm going to make sure this is stitching correctly. I turned my jumps off so we wouldn't get really confused with all the dashed lines. And this is not stitching correctly because I can see my start point is starting on the pearls and it's ending in row 3. So it wants to stitch pearls and then the rainbows and then the top row, and then the third row. So let's switch this. Pearls needs to stitch second, so I'm going to push it, I'm going to move it down 1. Rainbows needs to stitch 4th, so I'm going to move it all the way down. Third row is third, so we have 4, 3, 1. So this needs to move up. So now if I look at my sequence, I'm at the top. 1, pearls, 2, merge group 3, clams 4. We have everything the way we like. Baseline, very important, baseline. Now we have this group and we are ready to come in and repeat this. Now we go to our repeat tab. We don't have to repeat right and left. We've already set that up. Everything is good there. We just need to repeat vertically. And so now I'm going to my vertical tab and I will add my repeats. We know this gap needs to be a -3. Now everything's set and we can add as many repeats as we need. Me, I like to have everything live outside, so I might do something like this. Maybe something that is a little closer at the top. That looks like it cuts that row half. Perfect. Baseline, and now I'm going to modify crop. Remember, very important, baseline after that, after you set the design up, before the crop. I'm going to crop outside, close my edges, baseline after my crop. And now I have this very cool design ready to stitch on my quilt. Fantastic. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So you do have to do a little bit of planning yourself. Plan out how this is going to go. See how it's going to stitch. Like, what's your pattern that you need to create? You can do this so many different ways. You can use different designs. You can use multiple designs. You can make these bigger. But plan out your pattern and see how you need to create it. You'll create each row, bring them back to the start point, and then just offset them as needed. And then you're good to go and stitch away. Oh, so cool. So very cool. But, all right. Well, that is a little bit of working with the Clamorama sets. I sure hope you pick them up. Remember, quiltable.com. I will link them below. And ASF10 will get you an extra 10% off. So we'll see you back here in a second. All right, everyone. So that was using those Clamorama sets from Quiltable. I'm going to drop a few pictures here of different quilts that were quilted using these sets. I just think you can get so many different looks from these clam sets. You can definitely have those clams, using some of these designs, you can have those clamshells look more modern, or you can have them look more traditional. I guess really traditional, you can just do the regular arc. But some of these, like Hello Sunshine, I'm looking at the sets again, me getting confused. I love the pearls. I love the kind of more Art Deco-y, the Mandela designs. Like, you can't go wrong with this set. And now that you know how to mix and match them, you should pick up all three, because then you have 28 designs to play with, and you'll never go searching for a clamshell again. But thanks for joining me. As always, make sure you follow me on social media, Adam's So Fun with an S-E-W on Facebook and Instagram. You get a lot more of Adam there. I've been doing live since I've been home, so I go live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, and we do some stuff. I was stitching on the machine, and I will piece, depending on what I'm working on, you're just doing it with me, and you get to ask some questions, and then randomly I just go live whenever I'm bored. So it's the life, right? But like I said, thank you for joining me. I hope you use these. If you have questions, you know how to get a hold of me, message me, email me, adamsofun@gmail.com, and I hope you're having the most wonderful holiday season. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming up. I hope you're ready for it. And until next week, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me. And at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have a good time. Bye.